can't feel my face. Coffee spilling all over the place. Forgot the sticks, we're turning around. Another weekend in some hockey town. With a popped up parents, frozen toes, big hearts, bad luck. With a popped up parents, one more tourney, one more puck. We're broke, we're loud, we love this grind. Cause our kid just scored and we lost our minds.
Greetings and welcome to Pucked Up Parents. We are at episode number 24. This podcast is turning into a 24-hour job, I tell you, from the editing to the context to coming up with topics, but we're having a blast doing it. And with me, as always, is my partner in crime, my partner in spending a ton of money on this sport, my lovely wife, Angela. Angela, how you doing?
I'm good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Pucked Up Parents. We are your novice first generation hockey parents in a non traditional hockey town, here to talk to you about the things that we've learned and we're still learning about youth hockey.
We don't have a hockey background. I'm unathletic. If I sneeze wrong, I throw my back out. That's where I'm at right now. As we do every week, let's talk about this week in hockey. We don't have any hockey going on right now. Our kids aren't playing, but we still have hockey infiltrating our lives every week. Angela, what did we have in hockey this week?
Well, we just mentioned it right before we started recording. Our older child has started his first beer league team or league, whatever you want to call it.
What
Yeah.
was the proper term for that? We don't call it a beer league. It's some stupid term that's
Oh, the a
everybody
rec team.
a rec team, quote unquote. So yes, a
Trying
non
to be nice about it.
a non-alcoholic beer league for the, under 21 kids. They won, right? 4-2, am I mistaken? Is that the right score?
Like that.
They won 4-2, so big success there. We also, a follow-up on our last episode, we had a follow-up visit with the doctor for our 12-year-old, as Angela liked to call this doctor. Doctor doesn't give a crap, looked at his wrist for like 2 seconds and made a weak-ass diagnosis. So you wanna tell us about doctor doesn't give a shit?
Dr. Dismissive is what I'd like to call him. He literally walked in the room, zoomed in on the x-ray that was done at the ER and said, it's just sprained. It might be a growth plate thing, but, come back if it still hurts in a couple weeks, and sent us upon our merry way.
Right. Bottom line is our son is fine. He's back to playing roller hockey. He's back to throwing football. But Doctor, would you say Doctor Dismissive? Answer
Yeah.
Dr. Dismissive's Yelp reviews, and they were not kind. They matched what she said he was, dismissive and something else. What was the other word?
Arrogant.
Arrogant doctor. Wow, arrogant doctor. Who'd have thunk it? No disrespect to doctors. And the only other topic we have from the week was we got the old email survey from the 12U team, looking at next fall and winter to see when we're available for tournaments. And of course, damned if I didn't book a hotel for a Friday night Louisville football game, and we have a tournament in Detroit. So you may have to take that one with your cohort who's going to be joining us in a second at the Florida State Louisville game.
Let's do a quick recap. Last week, we had a great interview with Christy, who is the author of several books, and our giveaway that we're hosting on Facebook. So if you haven't listened to that, please check that out. And
Christy Casciano from My Kids Play
yes,
Hockey. She's also a columnist for USA Hockey Magazine, and I'm sure everybody who has kids that are in USA Hockey gets, because everybody gets that magazine. Really insightful, and we will be giving those books out soon. I do have some names. I'll do some drawings, and we'll get that underway next week. Angela, what's today's topic?
today, in honor of Mother's Day this weekend, we're going to have a guest interview with some of my favorite hockey moms. You probably heard us talk about our HBI group, which is our Hockey Bureau of Investigation. Joining us today are my fellow hockey moms, Shawna and Leslie.
I'm sorry, you said some great hockey moms are going to join us. Are they going to join you after Shawna and Leslie?
Oh, would you go away?
Shawna and Leslie, before I leave, thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to turn the reins over to Angela for the rest of this episode. So you guys carry away. Please don't drag my name or any of the other husbands in the mud, but please have at us, I guess. I'll edit this tomorrow and take out what I don't feel is appropriate said about me.
We
Thank
will
you.
try to behave ourselves. All right, guys, I'm going to do some introductions. I'm going to reintroduce Shawna, our fabulous goalie mom who's been with us before, who did our episode, I believe it was episode 5, Chasing the Crease. So welcome, Shawna.
Thank you for having me.
And I also have Leslie, who is another one of my hockey mom friends, who is a multi sport athlete mom, but also hockey mom, who is joining us today.
Hello, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. When I ask all of our interviewees, the first question for both of you guys is, at what point did you know you were a hockey mom?
Well, I knew I was a hockey mom when, Chase asked to do a little learn to skate. Then he just kept asking for the pads, and once he had those pads on, I knew we were done for.
I didn't
Leslie?
know I was a hockey mom. We did learn to play, and then the next thing I know, he's signed up and he's on a team in the fall, and that's where it started, and it never stopped.
And so for all of us, that was about 12-ish, 12, 13 years ago. I know
Hmm.
Sam started playing when he was about 5. I think your boys were about the same, 5, 6.
I think Henry was 6.
And they're obviously they're seniors this year. They're 18, so we've got some experience under our belts.
We do. I mean, we're old, ladies. We're old.
We got something.
Something. So, just to give everybody a little background, the three of us met when our sons were all on the same team. And I think that Shauna's son and Leslie's son were on the team first. And then our son Sam joined kind of that next year. And they were probably what, 10, 11 at that point?
So,
Oh,
Leslie, you were squirts, right, when you joined? I think you were.
yeah.
So, they
I
were
mean, I
11.
thought they were 8 or 9, I thought. No?
Oh, I think they were a little older because Sam joined first year Pee Wee, which he would have been 11 the year he joined you guys.
So we were squirts, Leslie.
Yeah, so you
Right.
guys would have been, like, 10-ish. We've known each other for a long time because the boys are all 18 now, so we've got a good solid 7, 8 years in this mess, and being hockey parents. But as I mentioned a little earlier in our intro, at some point during this time, we started being called the HBI. And I'm not really sure who coined that term. It started, I think, was it Shauna who,
Probably.
who coined that term? Because it was during tryout season, and as we've talked about on the podcast before, and as you guys know, tryout season gets crazy. And there's a lot of gossip and there's a lot of scoop going on. And we took it upon ourselves to try to confirm or deny said gossip. And we took to doing some homework and some research.
I remember we took and we put everyone's name that we could think of on a napkin. And then we put our prediction because it was a year where a lot of gossip was going around. A lot of kids were trying out at different places like AAA and trying to move up and all of that. And I remember we sat there and we were like, okay, well, I heard this. And we put down our prediction of what newest rumor was. And then we were like, you're not. And I think it came back. One of you said, we're better than the FBI. And I was like, well, heck yeah, we are. And I was like, well, we're the HBI because it was all about hockey. So yeah.
Exactly. And so, yeah, I think that's the origin story. And I think from there, we just kind of continued to do our homework and our research on anything and everything we needed to do. In addition to our napkin of players, we would dive in and research teams and players. Hey, where did this player play last year? Those kinds of things. We even got into, Leslie, I know you and I were getting really good at this when we were at nationals, researching cost of teams in prep schools.
Yeah, all the prep schools and private schools, we looked them up, and I have a note in my phone of how much all these schools cost, and whoo, there's some pricey, pricey places out there.
We really just realized that none of us could afford them. That's what we've really figured out.
Exactly. We realized that we made the right choices in choosing the teams that we did for our kids because we could afford them. And the kids were still having fun and playing, and obviously the kids got to be great friends, and so did we. I will say that Shauna and I tend to be better at the internet research, and Leslie is our extrovert friend, even though she's being a little quiet today.
She is. She's actually the one that likes to talk to people.
I know.
Angela, you and I are like, we'd rather take the stairs at a hotel than have to ride in an elevator and small chat with people.
Right. And so we're the ones chatting today. Leslie's being quiet. But I was going to say she's normally our extrovert friend who will just go ask somebody what the situation is and talk with them.
Feel used. Like you only are friends with me because I will go do and ask people things, and that you need me as the extrovert for you to counterbalance your introvertedness.
Yep, that's
I
about
think
right.
that's fair. That
Yeah.
that's fair. That's why we love you. It's because you will go and chat with anyone. In fact, I know I've told you this story before, but when Sam joined the team, our first year on the team, you were one of the first people to come chat with me and interviewed me as a hockey mom to hockey mom, got all the details. Hey, how many kids do you have? Who's the oldest? What's your youngest name? Where are you from? She got all the
And you as
information
an
from me.
introvert.
She knew I was an introvert from there.
Yeah. No, I like to know the people around me. I need to know whether you are my people or not.
Yeah.
Because in
Exactly.
hockey, you will find your people and you will find people that are not your people, and those need to go away.
Or just not sit next to you.
We just keep
Well,
our
yeah, just
distance
that's it.
from them.
I was
Ex
just getting it all ready to go, whether I was gonna hang with you or not.
Well, I'm glad we
so
made the
clear
cut.
I
Jeez.
was gonna say, clearly we passed the test.
We
That's
have an
good news.
agreement. I'm the extrovert, you 2 are the introverts, and we just roll with it.
S
Angela, you're putting yourself down. Like, you actually are the amazing internet research because you'll be like, I found this kid and he played at this school and he played at this school and he had this many shots. And you come back with like all the details. And we're like, that's interesting.
Oh, yeah, I can dig into some stats. I will dive onto an association's website and get into their stats.
Now, in mine and Shauna's defense, Angela has a job that enables her to do such things where
That's
I'm
true.
driving all day and Shauna, has the little people.
Exactly, that's true. I am sitting at a desk all day, so I can jump on a different web browser and go, "Oh, let me dive into whatever the situation may be." But yeah, definitely doing the internet research. Shauna's the queen of the Facebook searches, though, to dive in and figure out,
Yeah.
who's related to who and
Boom.
who's dating who and who went to prom with who and all
Yeah.
of those things.
We all have our specialties.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly. You're our extrovert. That's kind of a little background on us, but to get kind of deeper into the hockey mom stuff, I got a question for you. We're all three of us are first generation hockey parents. None of our families had any background in hockey. Our kids decided to play for various different reasons, but somehow we became the default hockey parent. A lot of times it's the dad who's the hockey parent that the coach calls dad to, say something about practice or can you be at this tournament or whatever. But somehow that ended up on all of us. We're the ones that the managers and the coaches reach out to. We're the ones having those hard conversations with the coaches when it needs to be done. And even at one point, I think one of the coaches said, "Don't mess with those moms. They're not going to take any shit." And how did we end up in that role? What was it about us, about our situations that we ended up in that role?
Well, so for me, it was more Chase driven. So Chase was very particular about different things. And my husband is almost too easygoing on things. And so Chase would always request me. And we had two kids. And so dividing, my husband would always go with our older son because Chase would always be like, I want mom. I want mom. Mom knows how to put on the goalie pads. Mom knows how to do this. And so it just in the beginning, it was me all the time. And then it just became that I think made more connections with like you guys. And then it just defaulted to me. And also it helps that my husband snores. So Chase would never want to stay in a hotel room with him too.
And the truth comes out.
I mean, it does. I can't lie.
To go with, I am married to an introvert, so I do all the talking. I think that was kind of a default thing. But hockey season starts during football season, and my husband coaches high school football, so he was doing his coaching, which takes up a ton of time. I was the one taking him to practices and doing all that stuff. And yeah, so then by default, I just kept going, and the rest of the year I just kept doing it. And then, like Shauna said, I think Henry then preferred to have me there because I knew where to go and what to do. And I would not tie his skates because I never did it right. And I finally said, I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, and you guys heard Michael in the intro, and he will claim he is not a sports parent. So I think that's how I ended up being default, is just because I grew up playing sports and kind of knew what the flow was with everything, how to handle different situations.
Well, let's
Yeah,
also
I
be honest though too, right? Anytime there was a weekend, we would text each other and we would all get real irritated if one of us was sending the husband and not us. We're like, it ruins the whole weekend. Okay. So we only
right.
wanted, yeah.
There are a couple of times I remember being at a tournament and it was like me and all the dads, and I'm like, "I don't like this. This is not fun. I need my people. I don't like being around these people." Next serious question, and then we'll get into some fun stuff too. What is an important life lesson that your son has learned through playing hockey?
I don't think mine has learned it yet. He is still doing the bad things that he should not do.
He's
What
getting
has
there.
he
Well,
I
I can
know.
tell you, listen, I'll go because mine's easy. Chase has learned that he's got to bad things let him go. Like when he being a goalie, the best lesson. He's learned that if he makes a mistake, he's got to just forget about it and he's got to move on. He can learn from it, right? Maybe he was out of position or whatever, but I think that carries over into life because he's got to learn that he can't just beat himself up over something over and over and over again. And I think he's definitely carried that into like academics and other things where he's like, yeah, I got to let it roll. I got to learn from it and I got to move on.
Look, I was not prepared for that question. Um,
That's okay. I put you on the spot on that one.
I mean, just I think like any sport that it is a team sport and you can't be selfish. And we all know we've had teams here and there that there's the kid that won't pass the puck or puck hog or whatever, and it would make him mad. So I mean, I think he has learned through that you have to play as a team, which obviously goes through life, and it comes across as any sport you have to play as a team if it's a team sport. I would say he learned that because he certainly didn't learn to control himself sometimes.
Well, Leslie, I think another thing that Henry honestly learned this year, he kind of had a bit for a few weeks there of kind of a scoring slump.
Yeah.
And and I think that he was pretty down about it, but he kept showing up, he kept trying. And I think that's like one of those life lessons too.
Yeah, and there for a while, he wouldn't shoot, he would pass the puck,
Mhm.
which his teammates all loved, but yeah, I mean, yeah, that the ups and downs that you're gonna go through a scoring slump, and you just gotta keep at it, and it'll come back, and then at the end, he ended up scoring some very important goals, so,
Absolutely,
yeah.
he did.
Yeah, he sure did. With those emotional ups and downs, any tips for the newer hockey parents on how to help your kid through those ups and downs? I know that's hard. I know it's been hard for me and hard for us because sometimes the highs are so high and then the lows are so low, and trying to kind of balance those out has been tough. And sometimes that pendulum swings a lot faster than it does other times.
Yep.
And when it's that slower swing, kinda like what we were just talking about with Henry was in a little bit of a slump, that probably was swinging a little slower than he wanted to. Any thoughts on how to talk to especially the younger kids? I mean, our kids are essentially adults at this point, but for the younger kids, when our kids were younger, anything that you can think of that you would talk about or do?
First of all, just because 'cause they're 18, I'm not calling my child an adult yet. He's not an adult.
Well, they're mostly grown.
True.
We're kinda done with a lot of the parenting stuff.
Yeah, I'm done with that, but the frontal cortex is not developed yet.
Yeah, definitely not.
I think it definitely has changed over time, to be honest. I feel like, I mean, Chase definitely had a couple of emotional roller coasters even this season. I mean, you all were there for it, where we had the pivotal of a high. And then when there was a game that Chase thought he would probably start and didn't start, that was a tough one for him, right?
And you.
What? And me. Yeah.
And you.
And so I think just I kind of accepted his emotions. And I think that's been the biggest change. Like as a teenager, he's got to work through them. And if he is angry, let him be angry. But when he was younger, right, if a goal went in, like I remember there was a shootout, a goal went in, he was just real down. And I was like, we got to learn from this and move on. And then it was almost a little bit more of a distraction technique when they were really young. Hey, let's go get some food. Usually I felt like food after a game when they were younger, like changed things.
Right,
Or
would fix everything.
yeah, or go into a team dinner because
Yeah,
no one else was upset about, whatever happened. He would
yeah,
he would be more tough on himself. And then I felt like just being more with his friends than just me, because I think with me, I had more of a tendency to kind of dwell a little on it, like, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" Where he just was like, "Let's move on." And that's what needed to happen.
And you let them sort through their emotions for a time period, but then you have to move on. So when they were younger, it's like, "It's okay, buddy, you just keep trying and at practice, get better," or whatever. I mean, you're just the standard thing when they're little. And when they got older, I mean, yeah, I think we've all seen it where they lose a tough game. I just know I'm not going to talk to him. We're going to
right,
get in the car, and when he's ready, he'll talk until a certain point. And he never carried it out too far. And then it's like, okay, we're moving on. So, I
yeah,
mean, I think that's standard or healthy. He's
right,
not going to dwell on a loss for 3 days.
right, and not get angry and, break a stick or do other crazy things.
No, no,
Yeah. The
he
only
doesn't do
time the only time that I felt like Chase kinda had, like, an unhealthy kind of upsetness was last year after state, right? The state
Yeah,
shootout, and that's where
right,
I actually had to reach out to his coach and just be like, "I need someone else to talk to him because
yeah,
mom wasn't cutting it in that situation," and then even your boys reached out just
right,
because he needed to hear from other people that it was okay, because my talking and saying, "Dude, it's just a game, it's fine," that wasn't cutting it. And so I also feel like as a parent, sometimes you have to realize that this is might be bigger than you, and lean on teammates, lean on
yeah,
coaches, especially if they look up to someone. It's okay to just send that text and be like, "Can you reach out and check on my kid?" Or "Can you reach out and just tell them, your perspective?" Because the great coaches are really great at that. And the great coaches are going to say, this is not something we're going to be upset about, kind of thing.
I think that's a valid point, and I did that early in the season this year with Sam because he was having some attitude situation, and I had to call the coach and be like, "Hey, if you don't deal with this attitude now, it's gonna get worse." And it wasn't something that I could deal with, but again, it was something that needed to be handled, and that's where mom got on the phone, was like, "Hey, I just need to tell you this so you can address it so that this wound essentially doesn't fester."
Yeah, absolutely.
Moving on from the emotional aspect of hockey. So, hockey's a contact sport, it's a dangerous sport. We've been really lucky and not had too many injuries. But have you ever dealt with any anxiety over my kids playing a contact sport? And I know Leslie, Henry plays other sports. They're all contact sports. What are your kind of, I guess, advice to parents of younger kids on how to handle that worry of, "Oh my gosh, is my kid gonna get hurt? And then what do I do if they do get hurt?"
I'm the person to talk about not worrying about things. It's like worry about everything.
Well, that's why I'm talking to you about it, because I know you worry about everything. How do you set that worry aside or live with it, or sit with it, I
I
guess?
mean, Henry plays football, hockey, and lacrosse. I really never worried about him in football and lacrosse. It was just hockey because that's the only time that he's ever had a concussion. He got it on the ice and got taken some, I think the bigger hits happen in there. How do I handle it? I don't handle it well.
She
Oh,
drinks.
She
oh, that's true.
drinks.
Yes, that's why yes, you're correct. I drink. If your kid loves the sport and you've got the proper equipment and his gear and you've gotten him the training, like when they can start checking and they go to the checking clinic and you have a good coach that teach him. And we had to teach Henry, you got to put your head on a swivel because he got laid out in the middle of the ice because he wasn't paying attention. Then he put his head on a swivel and it helped. But I drink, I pray, and I just I just sit there. But if they love the sport that much, you can't to me you can't say, "Well, I'm not going to let you play A, B, or C for
Right.
fear of you getting hurt." I mean, that's not fair to the kids. So, I mean, I just try my best through medication of varieties and
Some prescribed, others
yeah,
over the
but I
counter.
mean, there's nothing worse than one tournament who had my kid? I don't remember who took him. They're in Michigan, the
Yeah, I
Silver
remember that.
Sticks,
It was Silver
and
Sticks.
by that
Yeah.
point, we were all such good friends, he could have been with any number of you guys. Me and Lance couldn't go, so we were watching it because we videoed the games and could watch them, and saw them go down, and the first person I saw off the bench was our head coach, and he never was the first one to go see a down player. It was always an assistant. And I was freaking out. And I remember I was trying to call all of you, going, tell me what is wrong, what is wrong. Just tell me he's moving his hands and his feet and this and that. I mean, I didn't want a concussion either, but it was horrible until somebody finally felt the need to call me back and tell me that he was fine. I don't even know if he
Listen,
had a concussion. You people just weren't answering my calls.
there's not good service in ice rinks. And Leslie, I will say that I think you and I have told our kids the same thing. If they go down on the ice, you need to get your ass back up unless you're really hurt.
Yes. It was
Get
blood
up
or
and get off.
bone.
Right.
Yes, if you
Unless you're
don't take
really
the boats to
injured, because there have been kids on various teams who are notorious for going down on little bumps and staying down and laying there and letting the coaches come out and all of that. And I think that was one thing that I told Sam from the very beginning of, if you go down, unless you are really hurt, get back up and get off the ice.
was
Um,
the thing was that Henry generally didn't lay on the ice. He
right.
would get up. I mean, maybe for a second or 2, but he wouldn't lay there. So when I said when our coach
Yeah.
went out there, I was like, "Oh my, what did he hit?
Right.
What was wrong?" That was rough, not being there and relying on other people to care for your child.
Yeah.
You just like I said, if they love the sport and you teach them right and have the proper equipment, you just gotta do it.
Yeah.
That's the best I got.
Yeah, and I think
And alcohol and
injury-wise
medication.
alcohol and medication. Injury-wise, though, I think the teams that our kids have played on together have been pretty lucky. I mean, there've been a couple of
Collarbone.
concussions, a handful of collarbones, Sam broke his wrist. Other than
Oh,
that,
Sam was with me when he broke his wrist.
yes, that's
That was
right.
me. That was me.
That's right.
But then Angela decided, "Oh, you're fine."
Yeah, I didn't take him to the doctor for, like, 3 days.
Like, Sam, that looks really black and blue. You better show your parents when you get home after you play
So
this game, okay? Let's play this game,
well,
then we'll go home.
and then I sent him to practice and then took him to the doctor the next day.
Yeah.
Whatever, he's
One
fine.
thing about, the team we were on for so long that brought us all together, we were very lucky and very blessed that there was always a doctor there. We had, I don't know, 4 or 5 either general family physicians or anesthesiologists. We didn't have any surgeons, did we?
No, we had wasn't somebody a pediatrician?
Yes.
Yes, pediatrician and his wife
And
was
his wife worked for the
DC.
CDC. Yeah.
Mhm.
CDC. Yeah, I mean, we had so many people, and then the number of coaches that had to know CPR and
Right.
all that other stuff. I did feel very comfortable in the fact that if something happened, there were knowledgeable people to take care of our children.
Yes,
That I
for
know they
sure.
drew straws as to who was going out.
Right. Right. And what was the concussion protocol that they
Oh
asked
my
you?
goodness. I mean, my kid, he's of average intelligence, I'll go with that. They were like, count from 100 backwards by sevens, and I was like, "Time out. After 93, I'm gonna struggle with this, and you're gonna ask my kid that." And they looked at each other and said, "Well, isn't that the standard protocol?" And they're like, "Yes." And I'm like, "Well, it's fine. He's gonna fail. I don't know what to tell you.
I have
Count
a
backwards
concussion too.
count backwards from 100 by sevens." That
That was amazing. And then do you remember we sat in the stands and tried to do it? Like, and we're like, "No,
Yes.
we're all failing." Like,
Like we all have a concussion. Let's
uh
just
It's
Mhm. Let's
93. Okay.
we're, like, taking our shoes off using some toes. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's
it's
86,
bad.
I think.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, anyway, let's move on from that.
Okay.
Let's go to some fun questions. What's one thing you swore you'd never do, but then ended up doing as a hockey mom?
Oh, there's so
Does hoc
many.
does it have to relate to hockey?
one thing you swore you would never do, but then ended up
Okay,
doing
okay,
as a
okay.
hockey mom.
Hey, listen, and we're all guilty of this. I never thought I would yell at other people's kids. I never, ever, ever thought I would yell at other people's kids, and I do. But I always say I'm an equal opportunity yellist. Like, I'm gonna yell at everyone, including mine, including yours, everyone that's
Team is
bad
fair game to be yelled at.
on the ice, or maybe even if you're not on the ice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be one.
I never thought, and somebody told me when Henry was little, "You're gonna get thrown out of a rink one day." And I was like, "I'm not. I don't yell. I mean, you guys know I'm not a big yeller or screamer."
No, you
Don't look
yell,
at
you're just not as loud as the rest of us.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, especially as other sports. I just don't yell a whole lot. And I was like, I am not getting kicked out of a rink. Well, I did. Was I not with you guys?
Yeah, you
And
I yeah.
we were up in Troy,
Yep.
and I stood up, and all I did was repeat what the coach said, which was, "You need to get control of this game." But I stood up, the ref turned around and went, "You?" Pointed at me, and out. I didn't leave. So I don't know if
Yeah.
it counts.
She went and changed jackets and put on a hat and came back in.
So there. I never thought I would get kicked out of the ring, and I really
Okay.
didn't, but kinda did.
The ref told you to leave just because you didn't. What's something that non-hockey moms will never understand?
Oh gosh. Oh, there's so many. Oh, there's so many. From like certain sayings, I mean, like that we yell to
Some of them people who are hockey moms don't understand
That's true.
because we have our own language.
We do. I know other sports like do the travel weekends and stuff, but there's something about hockey and hockey weekends. Like, my oldest played travel lacrosse. I mean, y'all drink like fish. I mean, and we're willing to have a good time pretty much anywhere. Like in a lobby, you might all
And
cram in.
Toledo,
What?
In
Toledo.
Toledo.
Yeah, right. I mean, I think we got like 18 people in that room that one time, adults, just to hang out. I think that has been the camaraderie and the feeling of family is something that maybe non-hockey parents would understand. Also, I I would have so much joy when like, your kids would do something. And I think of all the teams we've been on and like the twins, right? The twins that I'm talking about. I feel like a lot of these kids are like my own children. That's how much pride I had in watching them develop and score and all of that.
Say that hockey is it's different with the hockey family. And I mean, we've seen it as the kids get older when we go play in Indy, and I don't remember the kid's name, but he played summer with us. And then when we went to Kentucky and there were the kids there, and they just you play hockey, so you're friends and they just all know each I don't know. Yeah, it's hard to describe because like you said, the summer baseball and stuff, those people all travel and spend a lot of time together. So I don't know how to say that it's different, but I feel it is.
I think it's different because there's not as many hockey players. So the world is a little bit smaller because if you play hockey, there the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon is that much smaller in hockey. It's probably only 3 degrees. So like if you know a kid here, then he knows the kid that it's just a really tight circle. And I think especially in this area where we are, because hockey is not as big as it is in some of the larger markets, that if you know a kid that plays in Indy, and then he knows a kid that plays in Fort Wayne, and then you guys all know the kids that play in Columbus, it's just I think that's
Yeah.
part of it too is that they all know each other. They've all crossed paths, whether it was at a tournament or playing against each other or on a summer team. It's just, it gets really tight knit because of that.
Yeah, and I think you hit the nail on the head where it's a smaller family. I
Yeah.
mean, there's only a few hockey teams in our area and there's 1,000 baseball teams. I
Right.
mean, you meet people in hockey, you've got that bond because it's not a big work.
Okay, so what's the wildest thing to ever happen at a tournament hotel?
God.
No, no.
No, we're not
That
sharing
happened.
everything.
We're not
Like,
sharing everything.
Did
um,
I have to witness it or did I just hear about it the next day?
We can just hear about it the next day.
oh my God.
Do you know we were at Nations Cup
Yeah. Well,
and
yeah. Go ahead.
Grandpa was there and
Drop these
Grandpa
doors.
wasn't from the United States and he was defending the United States and yeah, you can kiss it, basically. I'm just gonna leave it at that. People saw things they shouldn't have seen.
That was pretty epic. I was stayed up late at a hockey tournament in Detroit with a dad, and we were sitting in the lobby, and we had a lot of cocktails, and I don't know what was happening, but I looked at John and I said, "Did we just see a unicorn?" And he's like, "I think we did." And then a little bit later, I'm like, "Did we just see another unicorn?" He's like, "I think we did." And then so, yeah, we just kept seeing there were people in costumes, but we didn't know if what we were seeing is what we were seeing. So that was pretty fun.
And Angela, that's such a loaded question because
I know.
I mean, we've had so many amazing times. I mean, Shauna mentioned it earlier during COVID when we couldn't hang in the lobby, so we'd have to go in our rooms. And yeah, there was probably 18 people in my room
Right.
and had the time of our lives.
Yes.
And we
Okay,
still talk
okay,
about it
so
to this day.
honestly, we should probably share this. If you're a new hockey parent, like this honestly, this is our go-to girls because even when we joined a new team, we were like, "All right, fun fact."
Yes.
Right? And we would go around and everyone would have to tell us a fun fact because even if they are a quiet introvert, there are fun facts about them. And while you're having some cocktails, getting to know some people, like you go around and you say a fun fact, and then you might have to go around and say another fun fact. I mean, again, we've learned so much about people, and that's kind of an epic thing.
It's an icebreaker. It's
Yeah,
a good way to get to know the rest of your teammates
yeah,
and the parents.
yeah. Not the
And
kids.
yeah,
I would hope the kids
Yeah.
would have some of the fun facts.
no.
Hopefully our kids don't have some of these fun facts yet.
When you go on these tournaments, get to know the people you're with because you're going to spend a lot of time with them. Some of them are going to be, as I said, your people. Some of them are not, but you're going to be with them. So get to know them and yeah,
Absolutely.
make some friends, make some lifelong friends that we definitely have done that.
And we
Wasn't
have
for
been in some
hockey.
places with crazy amounts of snow. I
Yes.
mean, that I think would be one of the things, like, driving back and we're all in the caravan just trying to make it down 75 and things, so I think some of those have been crazy weekends too.
Do you guys
To know each
remember
other.
the hotel in Chicago where the power went out and then later that night the cops were at the bar in the hotel lobby? That was
Leslie,
a
you weren't there.
Yeah, it was a fall tournament. I don't think Leslie was there or was coming up later that weekend.
There was a
But
fight.
yeah, so first off, the power went out at the hotel. Somebody
Yeah,
got stuck in the elevator. It was that whole
yeah.
shit show. And then that night, there was a bar in the hotel lobby, like a bar restaurant, and somebody got in a fight. And next thing we know, the cops are showing up at the bar in the hotel lobby. And the kids are in the lobby going, "Hey, there's cops in the lobby. Don't come down here."
That was
Sneaking around to see what was going on.
Yeah, they were sneaking around and texting, "Hey, there's the cops are in the lobby. They've got somebody in handcuffs."
I said, you
Yeah.
see all kinds of things and you just got to roll with it
Yep.
and have fun. Have
Yep.
fun.
Yes.
And
Speaking
for
of
your
having fun, I have some rapid fire questions for you. So, like, one-word answers.
good. Okay. Do you hear
Okay,
that,
if
Leslie? One word.
well, like, just a quick answer, not necessarily one word, but quick answer. All right, if you had all the money we've spent on travel and tournaments over the years to take a real vacation, where would you go?
Australia.
answer.
That's yours?
I want to go to Australia.
I wanna hug a koala.
I
I
think
just want to go to
koalas are mean.
Australia. I want to listen to them talk.
That'd be so fun. I wanna go to Bondi Beach.
I'd go to
Okay.
Fiji too.
Yeah, I was gonna say South Pacific. I think that Hawaii somewhere,
And we could more than
Fiji.
afford to go.
Yeah. Oh, based on what
We
we've
could go
spent on travel. Yeah.
we could go multiple times.
How many rinks do you think we've been to over the years?
Like, different rinks?
Different rinks.
45. No, more.
Leslie?
And
6?
I said 50.
So I've started to try to make a list, and I'm at about 64 right now.
Please come up with 3 more.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, um,
You know
that's a
what's
lot of
always
rinks.
you know what's always fun is when we go into a rink and one of us is like, "We've been here," and then someone else is like, "No, we haven't." And then we tell a story of what happened at said rink, and then all of a sudden that person is like, "Oh, we have been
Oh,
here." That's always a fun game.
in fact, we did that this year.
That was a game of where were we when? That's a
Yes,
fun game to play. Where
yes,
were we when this happened? We were in Toledo, we were
exactly.
in Chicago, we were in Tennessee. Where were we when we woke up in the morning to go to a game and there was a guy laying in the floor by the elevator with a beer next to him?
Nashville.
Nashville.
Yep, right
There.
before.
COVID.
That was the weekend before COVID. Yep.
Mhm.
Okay, what is the weirdest thing you pack for a tournament weekend?
Leslie, what's that game you bring? You know that game?
Which one?
The last one that we brought. You know, with like
Wasn't it Who Dis?
who did
Oh yeah,
new
new
Who
phone.
phone,
Dis?
Who dis?
Yes, Who
new
Dis?
phone, who did?
Yeah,
Yes,
so card games,
yes.
crazy card
We
games.
we brought Cards Against Humanity, we brought
Yeah, but new phone, who does is the best.
that is the best.
Your
So
dog hasn't moved for an hour. Is that a problem? Um, um,
Any other crazy things you pack?
yeah, vodka gummy bear.
yeah, Shawna packs her
Her
Okay,
fan
We do bring a
and
fan.
the fan,
a bag.
My
the
Peque Rene bag with all of the emergency supplies, but that's not really like
emergency supply
weird.
bag.
Yeah.
It's different. How's that?
Sometimes I brought bacon because, like, well, for breakfast because I can't eat eggs, and I feel like the hotel lobby never has enough bacon, so I just bring bacon.
So she brings her own bacon.
You know what?
Okay.
She brought bacon too.
Yeah, vodka gummy bears and in the snackle box, the adult snackle box.
Oh, drunken gummy bears. Those are a must, hockey parents. Shauna can give you we can put the recipe on the
Yeah,
website.
Don't use that.
we
Don't use
can.
that Harborough brand or whatever.
You get
It's got to
the
be
gummy bears with
The albacore tuna brand
tuna, the gummy bears that start with the A, brand that starts
in
with
the
the
white
A.
bag.
If you played hockey as a kid, what position would you have played?
Defense.
Really?
Yeah, I'm gonna knock somebody on their butt.
That'd be fun.
I'd play the same thing in football too, by the way.
Angela, what would you play?
I think I'd play wing.
That's so interesting that both of you would choose the opposite of your kids.
I know, right?
Yeah. I
Well,
honestly
you've met our kids. Leslie's kid is an introvert. My kid is an extrovert.
Remember, he learned in psychology class he's an introvert.
That's right. He learned he's an extrovert.
funny. Gosh, I mean, I hate to say, I don't know. I don't think I would be a very good goalie. I think I would love to play it, but I
Be
don't know
good at
how
it.
you all watch your kids get hit. I don't get that. That's the one aspect that I tell you all the time. I'm like, I don't know how you watch that. So I think I'd have to say goalie.
Okay.
I'd be
Okay.
real bad at it. Real bad. But I mean, I could be like that walrus commercial. I could just stand there.
Just stand there. Last quick question. What's your hockey mom superpower?
What do you think mine is? Oh, that's not like a hockey mom. Spirit fingers?
I know. That's what I thought of. What
Well,
is my hockey mom's superpowers?
yeah, your hockey mom superpower.
They take pictures.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Fantastic pictures.
Yeah, that's really like a serious answer, one that's gonna make
Okay.
anything I say sound dumb, but I appreciate
Well,
that.
not only the spirit fingers, but the
I think
ESP that
talking
you
in
send.
tongues. I think talking in
Yes.
tongues would be
Just
Yes.
is the announcing when you would
Oh,
do the
yeah.
Facebook announcing. That is a skill in itself.
Yeah, the live stream videos. Shauna was really good at commentating the live stream videos.
the puck is
Not
in the
for
neutral.
juvenile ears.
No, God,
No.
no. I'd be like, "Listen, there's a disclaimer on this." Okay, I think that would be my superpower.
Okay,
I like
Angela,
I
it.
what's
like it.
yours?
I don't know what my superpower is.
Honestly, you keep such a cool, calm demeanor.
I was gonna say probably just to deal with whatever disaster shows up that day.
Yeah, you're really good at
You've
that.
helped Shauna in disasters.
God, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You were good at having hot flashes.
Oh yeah. That's my superpower is to sweat in an ice rink in Michigan in February.
I think we're really good at making t-shirts real quick. That's another
Yeah,
superpower.
yeah,
Able to do
definitely.
whatever is needed.
Angela, you know what your superpower is? Making sure that everyone has drinks.
Has drinks,
Yeah, parent drinks, adult
beverages.
drinks.
You've been
Every
to the
time I'd
liquor
be
store
like,
many times for me.
well, I'd be like, yeah, because I'd be like, oh, man, I can't pregame. I don't have anything. You're like, well, actually, I have an 8-pack
Actually, I had a
on it.
cooler.
We were getting to Pittsburgh and it was snowing and it was horrible. And Angela's like, "Do you want me to go to the liquor store?" I'm like, "Yes, please."
Yes. Okay, my superpower is the ability to go to a liquor store. Great.
We all have our
So
strength areas, Angela.
it was a necessity. That's
All
the other
right,
thing we
guys.
know is every city we've been in, we know where the liquor store is.
And
Yes.
Costco. We know where the Costcos are.
Costco. Yep. Definitely know where all the liquor stores and all the Costcos are.
Hockey Mom Essentials.
Hockey Mom Essentials. So, little reflection here. Advice for new hockey moms. If you could go back to the beginning, what piece of advice would you give yourself as a new hockey mom?
I say this all the time. I hope it's not a downer, but enjoy it. I think that Leslie and Angela, we've had this conversation. Like, I know we enjoyed it, but like, did we really appreciate how young they were and like what they were doing at each stage? Sometimes I think that I maybe got a little wrapped up in did we win or are we doing this tournament, that sort of thing. But I look back and I'm like, they were so little. They were so little. So just enjoy it. It goes by so fast. You never know when it's going to end. I mean, our 3 boys did play through their senior year, but we have friends who their kids stopped at different stages along the way. And some I think were very unexpected stops. And so just enjoy it, embrace it, take really good pictures, take a lot of pictures and take a lot of videos because what they do when they're younger and then when they start scoring and doing all of these things, take videos so that you have memories of it.
Leslie?
Enjoy the ride. I said it. Be present. I mean, that's just a thing ever since Henry was born. I was going to be present because they say time flies and I wasn't gonna miss it and I wasn't gonna take it for granted. And hockey's a little bit different because, like we said, it's a smaller world. It's a great sport to watch them be able to skate on blades with a stick and a puck and watch them grow in the sport and just don't get wrapped up in the little shit. Just let it go. The stupid parents that are yelling and screaming, just you got to block them out and enjoy your kid and the friends and the kids that you meet. Enjoy the ride because it's one hell of a ride and it's
Also,
the best.
when you find your people, hold on tight to your people.
I
Yeah.
was gonna say that was gonna be my tip of the week is find your people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta find the people. If you're in this, if your kid really loves the game and is gonna play, you've gotta find your people to keep your sanity through all the ups and downs, emotional, all of the crazy things that happen at tournaments, whether it's what you're doing in the lobby or whether it's the busted goalie glove or the flat tire or whatever. Find your people that are there to laugh with you and help you through whatever it is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you'll find them. I mean, yeah,
Well,
you'll find them. And we made it the last 2 years, we made the conscious decision to keep those boys together.
Yeah, just just so our listeners know, our 3 kids have been playing hockey together for, like we said, what, 7, 8 years?
7, 8 years.
And they don't go to the same school. We don't live in the same neighborhood. But these boys are tighter and better friends than a lot of kids that they go to school with.
But, yeah, I mean,
Um,
we live an hour away from I live an hour from Angela and what,
like
30,
30 minutes.
35 minutes
yeah,
from
Yeah.
and they
yeah.
do. My son will drive to Kentucky to see his boys whenever.
Which I think is amazing.
Stupid.
It's it's a great bond though. They're good kids. And I think we found our people too through this process. And I think that's kind of key to the whole thing.
Get wrapped up in ch chasing greener
Yay.
pastures or
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, look at your kid and realize his ability as in reality, not, my kid's the best thing in the world.
Don't force your
Don't
kid to chase your dream.
right. And they're gonna have fun. They're not going to the NHL. So put them in the right spaces for them that they love their teammates and get along and that they're having fun, and then you'll have fun. That's about all I got.
I love it. I like it.
We didn't end on a happy note.
Well,
Okay.
no, I'm not quite done yet. I was gonna say thanks. I was gonna, appreciate that you guys joined us today. Shauna, thanks for coming back and joining us. We still need to do another goalie episode to follow
Absolutely.
up on some stuff there. Leslie, I'm gonna bring you back and talk about your multi-sport athlete.
Talk about my penalty, my child and his
I was gonna
penalty.
say you're gonna talk about anger management. No, I'm just kidding.
No, we'll talk about the multi-sport athlete and how you manage all of that. We drag Lance into this too as a
No.
hockey dad, but football coach. We'll see. I think we're gonna do
See what
some more
perspective
interviews over the summer. I think it's a different
he
perspective.
has. Yeah, but yeah, it's almost over. Tonight was his last regular season lacrosse game.
Oh my gosh.
So my 3-sport athlete is ending his high school career, and I still haven't busted out crying, so I'm all right
Okay. Well,
right now.
hold it together. Hold it together. But yeah, want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for this chat. We'll definitely do it again because there's a million other things we can talk about. Michael's not here to do our small business shout out, so I'm going to do that for him this week. We want to share another podcast. This one's for the kids. It's called Hockey Heroes and is a podcast for hockey kids who love the pros by Louis Calabro and his son Remy. Follow, subscribe, and share. Leave us a comment, questions on whatever platform you listen on, Facebook or Instagram. Remember that you're not the only one lost and confused at the rink. We're here for you, and we'll learn along with you, and maybe you guys can learn a little something from us. And remember, as Michael always says, always keep your stick on the ice.
Out before dawn, can't feel my face. Coffee spilling all over the place. Forgot the sticks, we're turning around.